Oh,
Now we're being recorded.
okay.
All right, bet. All right. So welcome to the first Sip Social Lite. We do a social commentary, digital commentary event called Sip Social. We do some major digital commentaries, but we wanted to kind of break it down into some more simpler conversations about the things that we talk about on a regular basis anyway. I am Marcus Leslie. I'm the portfolio manager for Marathon Capital Investments. Joining me today, we have
You have Kevin McKinney, which is the CEO of Marathon Capital Investments. What's up, Marcus?
Then
Dog.
you have Larmea, Cece Usher, the business engagement partnership manager for Marathon Capital Investments.
And,
Don't
and,
clap for me,
and,
snap for me. Sound good. I don't even know if that's my whole title,
and,
but go ahead.
So what we do with Sipping Socials, anybody that's tuning in for the first time, what we do with Sipping Socials, man, we have conversations about things that affect the Black community, but we do it in an unapologetically Black way. We just do it ourselves. We be ourselves. Only rule we have is fight fair. But with this first one, man, I really just wanted to catch up with you guys about some of the things that have been going on in your professional lives because we talk a lot, but we don't. People don't hear about some of these challenges that we face. We're all in really dope industries. I know for a fact that both of you guys are doing some amazing things out there. And so I just wanted to kind of catch up with you guys and see what kind of jewels and gems we can get out of this conversation. So I guess the first question I would ask you is uh and when you give your answer, make sure you tell people what industry you're in so they have kind of a reference. So what's been the hardest thing about being Black in your industry lately?
Uh, the hardest thing for me about being Black in the tech project management developer industry is the fact that it's not a lot of us in the industry. So I do find myself being the only Black person in a lot of the rooms that I'm in. So, I mean, I myself, I'm one of those people to where, I'm a chameleon. I can adapt to my environment. I know how to pivot. I know how to, make the best of any environment. But as far as it being a situation that is noticeable, and there's certain things that some people are not going to really understand or relate to, it's not really a lot of people, that look like us in that realm. And then when you do see somebody, it's like, hey,
Right.
come
Right.
holler at me. You know what I'm saying? So it is exciting when you see that, but that's probably what I would notice because I can't say myself that I have challenges with it because, I'm gonna do me regardless. But that would be a challenge for I say a lot of us in that particular field is there's not a lot of us.
Yeah, I've heard there's not a lot of us in the tech sector. Um,
Mm-mm.
but it's just like when you at any of the other people's events, when you see somebody look like you, it's always immediately like, "What's up? Hey,
Yeah.
CC, what about you?"
To say for me, so I'm in the government municipality sector. Uh, in various departments. So it's not specifically just one. I'm actually in the middle of like economic development and managing the Department of Libraries portfolio, which is new. I just got promoted like literally May 1st. So
Uh-oh.
it's a very interesting field to be in. I mean, my title on paper is a development specialist, and just kind of echo one to Kevin's point. It's not a lot of us. I think I am the only one in the city of Virginia Beach. And on top of being, a person of color, I'm also a woman. So folks who look like me, yeah, we say it's rare to none, but I haven't seen any yet. And I've been in this arena for almost 2 years. But I'll have to say the biggest struggle, especially as a Black woman, is making sure people understand that my advocacy isn't necessarily aggression. Um, and yeah, just making sure when I'm advocating for myself, I stand true in who I am unapologetically. And it's not my intention to make people feel uncomfortable, but I feel like Black women are so dope and just so dynamic. And I think sometimes when we speak with so much conviction that it can make people very uncomfortable, especially folks who are not folks of color who don't understand our swag.
Mm.
I think it's a twofold. So that's one fold of it. And then the second part is I manage grants for the Department of Libraries. So it's about almost $3 million in assets that I oversee. And I receive a lot of grant applications from folks who have looked me up on LinkedIn or they've seen me out in the community. And there are organizations who do look like me or their businesses in the literary field that do look like me looking for funding. Um, and I think sometimes being Black in like executive leadership position, people sometimes, I don't want to say want the handout, but they feel as though the person at the table who does look like them owe them something.
Mm.
And the reality is, even though we may look like each other, or you've seen my LinkedIn photo, right? And you're like, I'm going to go ahead and send her a personal email to be on the lookout for my grant. And I see the grant, just because I'm a person of color doesn't mean we can slack with our product. Like when folks are coming to me to tap into those assets, which is millions of dollars, I need people who look like us to come correct and realize too that I can only advocate for you, one, when I have a seat at the table, but with that advocacy, I will only advocate for quality, regardless of race. But I do look out for my people because I have a seat at the table, but it has to make sense.
That's
So
crazy. That's crazy because I remember in one of our
that was a lot.
socials we had this conversation, and
Yeah,
it was about supporting Black-owned businesses. We had this conversation, and I agree with you completely because
yeah,
the value of what you provide, of the service you provide, the value of the work you do doesn't get to diminish because we have the same skin color.
Mm.
yeah.
I'm gonna expect more from you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when we had that conversation, that Sip and Social was what, like 2 months ago?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in this leadership position yet. So I will be honest and say, like, my perspective was definitely on the other end of the spectrum to a certain degree. But now that I'm in this position, and I just see what their expectations are of me because I am a Black woman, I'm like, yeah, no, you have to come correct. You can't come asking for $150,000 in grant funding and it's a $2 product or it's a $2 program that you're offering or the ROI doesn't make sense. Although, I do want to look out for my people. And as much as I want to support my people, it goes back to the advocacy too. You know what I'm saying? Like not only being an advocate as a Black person in white space, but also too being a Black person advocating for quality regardless. So
Mm.
that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I would say for me, the hardest thing. So I'm my 9 to 5. I'm in the restaurant industry. I'm in restaurant leadership. I recently got a promotion too. Now I'm an NSO and assistant training developer for corporate. Um, and I think the hardest thing for me is managing my energy because I used to have this problem with walking into a room with my full energy because I never wanted to feel like I was stepping on toes. And what I had to learn was I'm there because of my energy. I'm there because of who I actually am. And I had to kind of like check myself. Kev, me and you've had the conversation, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I had to really learn, like, hey man, no man, I don't have to shrink myself.
Yep. I'm
Make
I'm
y'all
about to
feel
touch on
comfortable.
it.
I don't have to shrink myself to make y'all feel comfortable. I'm elite. I'm excellent. And so I'm gonna walk in this room and I'm gonna be elite and I'm gonna be excellent. And that's been
Facts.
the hardest thing for me is especially being a Black man, because at the same time, it's like when I'm walking in this room, as Kevin said, it's not a lot of people that look like me. In the restaurants, there's a lot of people that look like me. But in those other rooms, the people that's actually making the decisions for the restaurants, there's not a lot of people that look like me. And I had to accept that I'm in that room for a reason. And I actually had that
Shit.
conversation on one of the calls because it was an argument happening, and I literally told them, I said, I respect y'all's, I respect the politics of what y'all do, I said, but there's a reason that y'all are in the room, and there's a reason that I'm in the room. And I'm going to be in the room for the reason I'm in the room.
Mm.
Ashe.
So let me touch on that. So Marcus is correct. We've had conversations about this, and one of the things, not like I said, this is a growth situation I'm going to speak to. Beforehand, and this is years back, going back to what Marcus said, you almost felt like you had to kind of dim your light or shrink yourself because me personally, I have a rough time with the word humble. The reason why I have a rough time with the word humble is because I understand the true definition of it and I understand the way that humble is looked at to us as black men. I'm speaking on black men in this particular point. Um, when you're in these areas and when you're in these positions. So when you are at a point to where you are really good at what you do and you're confident, sometimes as being a black man, your confidence comes off as conceited. It comes off as cocky. It comes off as overconfident. So sometimes when we go into that self-consciously, we know kind of got to tone it down a little bit because I don't want to rub people the wrong way. Or when I come in here and I'm super confident and I know that I'm dope, I get this phrase from other people that you need to humble yourself. You get what I'm saying? So that phrase that you need to humble yourself, sometimes what other people don't know and understand how it comes off to a black man internally, we sometimes take it because that's the kind of the the vibe that it comes off is stay in your place, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You lucky that you here right now. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? You lucky that we allowed you into this room. You get what I'm saying? So that sometimes makes some certain black men when we go into these type of rooms a little bit standoffish or really flexing our muscle and really showcasing our power and things of that nature because we don't want to run into that situation. But as Marcus was talking about, at this particular point now, you have to advocate for yourself to let people know how dope you are. Now, here's the key thing there is a way to do it with tact. And also, you got to back up whatever it is that you say. So if you come in there with your chest out, and you come in there talking about, yes, I'm this person. Yes, I'm dope. I heard that this, that. You're in that room for a reason because you're supposed to be in that room. So you make sure that you let your presence be felt in that room and never let anybody tell you that you need to humble yourself when you are actually dope at what you do. Because again, if somebody comes to me and say that you need to humble yourself, I need you to go back and look at what the term or what the definition of humble is. It's not me standing up under you and dimming my light because you feel like because I'm a black man, I need to stay in my place. So that's why the way I come into the rooms now, I come into the rooms confident, but also I back up everything that I talk about and I back up everything that I do. So therefore, when I say something, folks get quiet and they listen because they know I'm coming correct and they know who's in the room. And they know that I know who I am and who's in the room. So that's the reason why things have changed a lot in regards to my career because I understand how to present myself with respect, tact, but also I'm never gonna let anybody tell me that I need to be humbled or they're gonna put me in my place. It's never gonna happen again.
Uh,
Oh, and I just feel like he literally just summarized all three perspectives like into one. Like the intersection is crazy.
I think there's
Yeah.
a direct correlation. I think there's a direct
Yes.
correlation between nature and nurture in the black community, because we have this phrase we use: "I'm a product of my environment." I mean, I know for a fact that Kevin's parents gave him so much game. Like when he saw his mom, he saw excellence. When he saw his dad, he saw excellence. His dad has so much wisdom, and I've seen when you meet Kev's dad, you like, yeah, that's his son. You know what I'm saying? And then you have somebody like me. I didn't grow up in that environment, so a lot of things that I didn't have that kind of guidance. Thank God that I was blessed with a great grandfather and great friends. You know what I'm saying? I learned so much just from talking to this guy. Um, but there's a direct correlation between how you feel when you get in that room based on where you come from. I had to learn to be okay walking in my power because I didn't grow up being able to walk in my power. I didn't even know what my power was.
Mm.
A crazy thing because like I'm getting to that place finally at 40 where I'm like, I really like me. You know what I mean? But I went through a solid, you Kev know how I used to
I
be.
know. I
And
know
I had to find the excellence in me. I had to believe
how
it.
we used to be.
Yeah. We gonna talk about that
I ain't always been polished, bro. You know.
Funny.
real talk. But I think about um I'm specifically referring to being in these rooms, like how long it took me to even be comfortable stepping into these rooms.
Right.
You know what I mean? I always thought that was I'm not supposed to be over there. Now, mind you,
There's a term for that.
the skill was always there. The effort, the ambition, the standard of excellence was always there. Even when I was doing things I shouldn't have been doing, I was excellent at it. You know what I'm saying? But just getting to a place mentally where it's like, no, I'm supposed to be in that room.
Hmm. And the term for that, CC, you know what the term is for that when you are in
Get
a
out of my
room?
head. I do know the term. Don't well tell me if I take too long, but oh something something imposter syndrome.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a real thing. That is a real thing. And I feel like I don't say every black person, but a large majority of black people in positions of like leadership or executive leadership, they've probably experienced imposter syndrome. Because
And
I too, I
survivor's
had,
remorse, both of them.
yeah, it's a real thing. It's a real thing.
Yeah, I definitely had survivor's remorse going into college for sure. You know, we talk about, making it out of your situations. And I remember I got to college, I didn't even realize I was out. I didn't even recognize the opportunity I had because I was so indoctrinated and institutionalized into the neighborhood and the environment that I came up in. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, man, it's just crazy. I think there's a direct correlation to that. If you look at black people um in industry, especially at high levels, I think that it takes a minute to actually feel like you belong there. I know my sister just got her master's. She graduated actually this morning. She
Yeah,
just got her
that's
master's
dope.
in architecture from Berkeley. Um,
Nice.
and I remember that going through this process with her. The days when she didn't feel like she was supposed to be there. And I'm like, they accepted you though. So you're supposed to be there. You know what I mean? And it wasn't about her ability. It was literally when she looked around, it would nobody looked like her.
Yeah. But going back to it, man, and once you realize your power, your dopeness, your talents, you start recognizing that other people around you also recognize it as well. Because
Mhm.
one of the big things that I can say, even in my position in my sector, there's not a lot of us, but there are also some of our counterparts that definitely let me know on a regular basis how dope I am and advocate for who I am, and they let me be myself. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes we're so scared to be ourselves, going back to what we just were talking about, that we don't give our full selves and we don't give our full fledged power and talent because we tone it back because we think that it's going to rub somebody the wrong way. And like I said, I know for a fact it's a situation. I'm not going to use any names or anything of that nature. But I had one of my superiors who does not look like us, and he advocates and champions all the time. Hey, be you. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about all this other stuff. You here because you supposed to be here, and I trust you, and I know your talents. I'm gonna let you do you. So don't feel like you have to shrink down, or don't feel like you have to tone certain stuff down because somebody's gonna feel some type of way about it. Nah, I got you here for a reason because I know what you do. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So we can't always look at it as just because we are the only ones in the room that we're alone and we ain't got people that really, really rock with us. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to make it clear so people are not thinking, whoever may be watching, like, oh, if you are in a room where you're the only person in the room that you feel like you're by yourself, if you're not getting the just due that you're supposed to. Now, it's people in there, once they see that you are genuine, once they see that you are a natural born leader, when they see that you are knowledgeable what you're talking about, they gonna rock with you because at the end of the day, it's about getting whatever it needs to get done. And then also, you inspire people. Shit, man, there's people that are older than I am, been in the industry longer, don't look like me, that tell me like the way that you move and the way that you handle so much stuff, you juggle everything, you inspire me. And they're in higher positions than I am. So that goes to a term that we use, which is leadership without a title. So you don't have to have the C-suite, or you don't have to have that executive position for you to actually influence your company or your business or whoever you are around you. You do it by just basically showcasing your greatness. So
That's real. All right, so I know we on limited time. We call them sipping social lights for a reason, because these ain't no long drawn out conversations. And Cece, I know you got things to do, so I'm gonna end this with asking y'all a question. Cece, I'm gonna start with you. Give us one thing that you wish someone had told you at the beginning when you started your career path.
Ooh. Yes. To say, in the words of Zora Neale Hurston, um, if you are silent about your pain, they will kill you and say you enjoyed it. And I'll say, if I could have learned anything early in my career, and I'll just say early in general, period, as I entered into adulthood, is boundaries. Boundaries are so important, man. And I feel like conversations surrounding boundaries, man, they're so underrated. And when I say boundaries, I mean having healthy, sustainable boundaries in your professional life at work, whether that's your leadership, your colleagues, whether you're a customer facing person in the service industry, having boundaries with your consumers, and making sure you trickle that into your personal life as well. We give so much of ourselves in our career, right? Like for me, I'm with my colleagues and my coworkers more than I am with my own family. Right. So I think just how you establish boundaries with your family and your friends, you have to be able to establish those same boundaries in the workplace too, or within your career. A great man on this call once told me, man, he actually puts his personal time on his calendar. Therefore, when he's scheduling, whether it's for MCI, whether it's for his daytime job, family, friends, like that block is for himself, and it's for himself for a reason, because he learned early on, or I don't know, maybe late on, the power of re-energizing, man. So I think that was so important when he told me that about 2 years ago. I wish I would have met him at 18, 19. So, because no, seriously, man, because like now you kind of hit a point, I don't want to say of like career burnout, but because of the lack of boundaries and the importance of it and how to set them up, you get drained so early on in your career, man, that you really don't have much to give the people, right? So yeah, I'll have to say in Zora Neale Hurston words, man, if you are silent about your pain, they'll kill you and say you enjoyed it. So for my people, especially Black women, because sometimes we struggle with that superwoman complex, know your boundaries, articulate your boundaries, stand on your boundaries. That would be something I wish I would have learned early on in my career.
Yeah.
Oh, mine's simple.
And I'm talking about Marcus, by the way. I just want to say that. Kevin dropped some gems too, man. But that whole personal block, I literally have, I'm a calendar girl now. It took a while, but I'm a calendar girl. So I just
Hey, you
had to
pay all
click
that,
your
pay all
virus.
that money for your phone. You better use it.
Hey, me and Marcus had that same conversation. I told him I do the exact same thing. Everything's on my, what I say, if it ain't on my calendar, what, Marcus?
It don't exist. And this
Don't
is
Come on
the
now.
thing. This is
exist.
the thing.
Come on.
And this the thing. And this the thing. And then Kev, I'm gonna let you say your piece. This is the thing for everybody watching. I need y'all to understand why this is such a powerful tool in your toolbox. If you schedule personal time on your calendar, if someone asks you if you're available during that time, you're not lying when you say that you're not available. It's on
Available.
my calendar. This 6 hours is for me.
Yep.
I'm not available. I can't make that meeting at this time. I got a meeting with myself.
Facts.
And
Facts.
and if you're a
Facts.
professional, because professionals, we move off our itinerary, our
Yep.
schedule. So if I have scheduled this meeting, I'm gonna be at this meeting. If I have to be here, I'm gonna be here. If it's personal time, it's personal time.
It's personal time. And to that point, just echoing even more what I said, stand on it. Don't be willing to move around your personal time. Like if that's your time for a reason. Don't try to accommodate. Like it's a non-negotiable. I feel like your boundaries should be non-negotiable, just like your personal time on your calendar.
People have to understand the difference between cost and value. And so
Mm.
Mm.
at the end of the day, this meeting may be important because of the financial cost of doing it or not doing it. But what is the value of the time? And that's why the personal time has value. And if you understand that, you will take it serious. Kev,
Yes.
Facts. Well, mine is very, very simple. Do not fall into the trap of trying to find a career that you're passionate about. Get the fucking money first, and you can be passionate on your time off.
hey man, no truer words, man. No
Hey, man,
truer,
I definitely thought I was muted.
no true, no truer words, man. Everybody follow your heart. Yeah, yeah.
Mom,
No,
with you.
Go get you some money though.
yeah, and I'll put some more context on it real quick and make it quick. The reason why I say that is because I've seen, and I was a victim of it, so many people that get later on in life and don't have a career. They've had jobs because they have not found what they're passionate about. So they go all of this time looking for this passion that and you find your passions at different time of your life because your mindset changes at different times of your life. You may be passionate about weaving baskets when you're young, but then once you get older, your passion may change into humanitarianism. So it changes. So the main thing is get your money first, and then at that point you can create something that you're passionate about, and then at that point, once you get enough income, you can then change that passion that you have into an actual business or a career, and you already have money to start that because you went and got the bag first. You get what I'm saying? Versus, oh well, I'm not passionate in this. I'm not passionate. Yeah, you not passionate, but you still got to pay them goddamn bills. Them bills don't give a damn about that passion. That's why I
I'll
say what I said.
I'll challenge that. I'm agreeing with you. I'll challenge that with saying focus on a life of purpose over a life of passion because passion is fleeting. Passion changes. Purpose don't change. If you know what you're doing something for, that don't change. Getting a good career, making sure that you're doing something that you're skilled at, developing that skill. Man, my OG used to always say, man, learn how to do something with your hands. You learn how to do something with your
Mhm.
hands, you'll never be broke. Whether I'm a sound designer, I'll never be broke. That's not going nowhere. If you know how to work on a car, that's never going nowhere. I would definitely throw in that. Make sure you're focusing on having a life of purpose. You know what I mean? When you go do what you do, you have your purpose behind what you're doing. If you know your purpose, you can put that in any industry.
But look, I'm gonna say that on the back end of that, everybody doesn't know what their purpose is early in the game. But one thing that you know that you're gonna need is you're gonna need their damn money. Get that money, and you can
Muted.
figure the rest out as you go. Cece, you muted.
You're still muted. You're
I
muted.
I was literally laughing, man. That was it. Sorry. Then my light went out.
All right, I'm a end with mine. Mine's pretty simple too. If you don't ask for what you want, you'll never get what you need. That simple. I wish somebody told me that. Man, like, you want more money, go ask for more. Because I know I got at one point in time I got 3 raises within a year, and simply because I asked for them. They were requiring more from me, but they weren't coming. That wasn't coming with a check, and so I went and sat down with the person in charge of giving me more money and said, "Look, man, this is your opportunity to let me know how valuable I am. You're giving me more responsibility. I need more money, and if you can't give me more money, I'm going to have to look somewhere else." And I got those raises. They showed me how valuable I am. If you don't ask for what you want, you'll never get what you need.
That's facts. That's facts.
All right.
No argument here.
Well, that's it, man. Thank y'all for tuning in for this first Sip Social Lite. We're going to keep doing these as much as possible, different guests each time. Kevin, appreciate you being here and making time always. Cece, I know your schedule crazy too. Appreciate you being here and making time. Time is the most valuable resource. They don't make more of it. Peace.
Got that right.
Thanks, Marcus.
Later.
Are we done? Are we cut camera?